Deep Dive Gaming.
Hello people, and welcome back to Deep Dive Gaming. I am the Mariner, and this is Fallout 4 with Sim Settlements 2. And I have spent the last couple of in-game days wandering around the Commonwealth, updating settlements that need to be updated, and we are ready to go back to Mass Bay. By the time we get there, the next quest will trigger. And there you have it. So let's head on in. And as we can see, some things have been cleaned up. No bodies on the floor. Now, no, this elevator doesn't work, so we have to take the stairs up. And up. And up. And up some more. And then head over to this elevator and take it up to talk to Fiona. And we find her next to the big giant cat scanning thing.
Hey there.
Oh, hey. I did promise to set aside a reward for you. Here. There's also a locker where we stash what we took off the bodies as well. You're free to it. Oh, and more importantly, here's some schematics for your ASAMs. I composited them from the hospital records on sanitation.
Sweet, that should give us sanitation plots. Or hospitals at the very least. There we go. I think I might have unlocked hospitals, or that's yet to come.
What's so important?
Take what happened here as a good example. The gunners were struck by cholera, and despite their armor and weapons, the raiders almost won. It's harder to treat, especially if antibiotics don't do the trick, but easy to prevent with proper sanitation.
Thank you.
No, thank you. With your tech and initiative, every settlement can now have proper health measures. It might not see immediate return, but trust me, in the long run, it'll make a big difference for survival. That's all I had. Cersei is out right now, but I can patch you up if you need.
If we're going to be working as a team, we should get to know each other better.
You mean me, personally? You know, I can't remember the last time I said anything about myself that didn't relate to the Nightingales. What would you like to know?
So you're a doctor?
Seemed like the most direct way of helping people, and there isn't a town out here that doesn't welcome a doctor, so it's an easy way to travel. I'm not exactly a prodigy with it, but I had more wanderlust back then, so I gave it my best shot. It's how I ended up bumping into the Nightingales.
Tell me more.
I found one of my routine stops razed to the ground one day. I went to help, and Cassandra was already there, looking like she'd been at it for days. There were people with her, mostly keeping watch, but it was easy to tell she was in charge. I joined in. It wasn't until later that I noticed the patients weren't just on the defending side. She didn't care. Even shouted down one of the guards that tried to finish off one of the raiders. Some of those townsfolk had been my friends, but what she was doing struck something with me. A long talk with her later, and the rest is history.
Who were you before all this?
I did a bit of everything, so I don't really have a word for what I was. I sort of traveled and made myself useful where I could. Sometimes doctoring, sometimes I traded or helped with farm work, built water purifiers, taught kids. Sometimes all I did was listen to people.
So you explore old ruins?
You noticed I like pre-war stuff, huh? It's always been a fascination of mine. The ruins, the tech, the books. When I was a kid, there was this old man living nearby with all sorts of books and gizmos. Never said where he got it, but I saw a Brotherhood stamp on his gun once. He was, well, tight-lipped and kind of an ass, but he let me read things. One day I was reading, I think it was a travel brochure for some place called Rome, and I broke into tears.
What? Why?
I guess it just hit me that I'd never see it. The idea that one day people could fly to beautiful places, take tours to ancient ruins, The more I thought about it, the more unfair it felt that we lost so much. Like this hospital, there's a whole ward for diagnostics. Machines that can map out the human body, synthesizers for medication, and all this knowledge just standing here, derelict. Or worse, buried in rubble and ruins. And instead of tour guides, we need bodyguards to explore them.
That's all for now.
Of course. Was there anything else?
Anything else need doing?
Work is never done. I'm a bit busy with some of the pre-war diagnostic machines, seeing if I can get them up and running. Everyone else has been really busy getting this place set up and secure. Maybe you can check in with them, see if they need anything.
Alright, so we can check in with Cassandra or Raphael, or both.
I should get going.
Alright, our first stop is going to be checking out the locker that Fiona left. That is just down this way and behind this counter over here. Not really anything to write home about, so we'll go ahead and head back downstairs to talk to Raph, who is all the way down on the bottom floor. Hello, Raphael.
Oh, hey. Was wondering if you'd be stopping by. Listen, I got an escort errand to run, if you're interested in coming with. Won't take long.
What kind of help do you need?
Fiona pulled some strings with Bunker Hill for supplies. Water, parts, tools, whatever. Due about now, didn't show. I'm not one to get all teary over a delay, but I'm itching for something to do. Might as well go meet them. So, you in?
Sure thing.
Caravan was coming by way of Diamond City. Safer route through there. If we check the street west, we'll probably run into them. And if we're lucky, there's something to shoot on the way. You take point. I'll watch your back.
Alright, before we leave, we're going to talk to Cassandra, who is one floor up again. I'm going to feel like a yo-yo by the time I'm done with this quest, I think.
I don't know if those straps will hold him.
Then go fetch Raphael to pin the patient down. Or ready another dose of sedative.
No! No, we can't keep sedating him. It can't be good for the patient. And we should give Raphael a break. He's already done a lot.
Oh, you think yourself more capable of wrestling with an unruly patient. I can't tell if that's arrogance or misplaced compassion.
Misplaced? After everything he's done for us, just because he could have been hurt, all just to keep the rest of us safe.
Ellis, enough. Sulking has its place, but that place is not during a biopsy.
Excuse me.
Oh, yes. Seems poor Ellis is at war with himself. He so desperately wants to do the right thing. But the right thing is so often elusive. You make decisions as to what's right and wrong daily, don't you? Tell me, this patient here, a raider by profession, most likely responsible for many vile deeds. In your opinion, is this patient better off dead?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Ah, perhaps you're hearing that little voice in the back of your head. The one that asks, what if? What if someone else needs this medicine more? What if this raider goes on to kill an innocent family? What if? Ellis is struggling because he's confronted by too many options, but he's unable to embrace any of them.
What do you think?
I think Ellis is young and has a lot to learn. Violence especially seems to unnerve him. He tries to hide behind Nightingale's teachings to protect himself. But despite appearances, the Nightingales are not pacifists.
There's no good answer. Taking action puts us at risk, but inaction could be deadly.
Action or inaction, the choice must still be made. But enough about that. I'm glad you stopped by. I've heard you have a curious little gadget called a Vitomatic. Let me see it, please.
Of course. Here you go.
Thank you. Oh, and don't worry. I would never scan you without your consent. Now, let's see. As I thought. This little device is confused by post-war mutations. I've reset its scanning parameters. That should allow it to diagnose common diseases.
Okay, Zetamatic now diagnoses the diseases someone has and show you the effects.
How did you know that?
Fiona would have you believe I'm technophobic. And while I do little to dissuade that notion, I don't deny the usefulness of pre-war machinery. In fact, I spent much of my youth hunting for such things. I'm actually quite familiar with a number of pre-war technologies. Your little scanner, for example, was made over 200 years ago by Robco. With so much time having passed since its creation, it was certain that a few of its coding variables basically needed a nudge in order to compensate.
Come on, tell me the whole story. Who were you before all this?
Before I was a Nightingale, I was an addict. Not for chems or alcohol, mind you, but the results of my addiction were no less burdensome. I was addicted to scavenging, searching old ruins, hoping to find forgotten breakthroughs, lost miracle cures. Years wasted picking over a corpse long dead. Who I was before doesn't matter. What does matter is this. The past holds no answers, only lessons.
Thank you. I'm sure that'll come in handy.
You're welcome.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and head to Diamond City to investigate the caravan. The best place to travel to looks to be the Boston Public Library. At least that's the closest place to it. I'm not going to go directly there. I'm going to go to Trinity Plaza and walk the rest of the way so we're not ambushed. Alright, so this way. Looks like the caravan has been ill-fated.
You be careful out there. Alice will probably cry if you die. And no one wants to see that.
Check.
Hi.
Well, shit. Super mutants. And here I thought I'd be setting up shop next to the combat zone that would cause problems. Funny. Nightingales found me in a wrecked caravan just like this one. I have to ask the kid if there's some fancy word for it.
Tangle with super mutants.
Nope, not super mutants. Raiders. My gang, actually. I was one of the attackers.
What do you mean? What happened?
We got stupid. We're desperate. Can't remember anymore. Caravan had too many guns to be a safe bet. But it was the first we'd seen in weeks. Funny thing. Wouldn't have shot anyone if they'd just let us. But they fought back. Ended up a bloodbath. All of them. Half of us. And me. Afterwards, my friends took the loot and left me bleeding out in the dirt. Being honest, I wasn't expecting any different.
They sound like bad people.
What do you expect? Raiders don't do the whole doctoring and nursing thing. Still, they could have at least spared a bullet. For old time's sake.
What happened after that?
Don't really remember. Alice says I fought back when they found me. But I can't remember anything until I woke up a couple of days later. Figure they confused me for a caravan hand or something. Then I got bored of just lying around, so I stopped ignoring the kids' chatter. Turns out, they knew who I was. Fiona gave me her usual bull about second chances. Dumbest shit I ever heard, at the time. Probably still is. Was planning to walk off as soon as my legs healed. And I guess I just never got around to it. Never was one for plans, anyway. Anyway, that's probably... Oh, shit. You hear that?
What's that?
That's it? Should have figured they'd stick it out in case it brought other idiots in. It's a classic. I'll see what I can salvage from this pile and meet you back at the hospital.
Okie dokie, I think that's our cue to head back and speak to He got back here before us? How'd that work?
Hey there.
There you are. Listen, thanks for the hat today. Being around these bleeding heart pacifists all day. It's nice to get out there and put the gun to use. And, about the shit I said. You know, about how I hooked up with the Nightingales.
Phrasing.
Anyway, I'm off to tell Fee what went down. See you around.
Alright, we're gonna follow him on up.
Hey, Fee. About that. You alright?
What? Oh, yes, lots to do, that's all. Did you end up going out there to meet the late caravan, or do I even need to ask?
Super mutant ambush. I brought back what I could carry, but...
I'm sure you did what you could. I'll let Bunker Hill know. Let's hope Cersei comes through on this opportunity of hers. What?
You planning to sleep sometime this month? No offense, but by the way you're swaying, I wouldn't let you so much as take my temperature right now.
I'll make you a deal. I'll sleep when you put your gun down for 2 minutes.
Your funeral.
Alrighty, I think we need to talk to Fiona now.
Glad to see you're back safe. And I'm sorry to hear about the caravan. Besides the loss of lives, this won't make a convincing case that we're worth visiting out here. In any case, is there something I can help you with?
If we're going to be working as a team, we should get to know each other better.
You mean me, personally? What would you like to know?
That's all for now.
Of course.
What's next for you?
There's something else that needs doing, but it requires traveling. Cersei is out on an interview, and I'd like you to back her up.
What kind of interview is this gonna be?
Someone got in touch with us about donating some funds and supplies. They were pretty vague on details, but Cersei seemed to think it was a good idea. At least, she thought it was a good idea to see what the offer is, how many strings are attached, that kind of thing. I trust her to handle that part. That said, I'm usually the one negotiating, and those things can go wrong very quickly. I'd feel better if you were there to keep her safe.
No problem. I'd be glad to help.
I'll mark the meeting spot on your map. Cersei will be waiting for you just outside. Stay safe out there.
Alright, that should wrap up that quest. Yep, there we go.
Ellis can be a little awkward, but he's got a good heart and a sharp mind.
And there's the next quest. So, we will cover that in the next episode. Just to remind you, I have a Twitch channel where I do more of this. Fallout 4 with Sim Settlements 2. Monday through Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern Time. Thursday nights, 7:30 Eastern Time, is Train Sim World 3. Tune into my other YouTube series where I do Sim Settlements 2 for science. Ow. Also check out my Twitter where I do announcements on video releases and when I'm streaming. All those links are down below. Until next time, enjoy Fallout 4 with Sim Settlements 2. Bye-bye.